Oh my God, you're going to love it.
Hey folks, welcome to the AI Chicks, where we're providing you cool conversations about AI for all. With each episode bringing you a different topic on how AI impacts your daily life. Hey everyone, it's the AI Chicks here, and we are back from our summer hiatus.
We hope you all had a fabulous summer because we did.
We were AI socialing all over the place, AI rooftops, AI beach parties,
AI boat brunches.
Yes, all the things. And so we're so glad to be back with a batch of great new episodes and amazing guests. I am your host, Aisha, always coming in hot with the fun, cool insight on tech. And I got my co-host here.
Hi guys, I'm Lana Hout, and I'm bringing the curls, the charisma, and that entrepreneurial energy.
Woo-woo. So excited that we're getting the ball rolling again with amazing conversations for you guys.
So today we're going to be talking about some interesting headlines that we saw about AI in the news.
Let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by Jira. Jira is the only project management tool you need to plan and track work across any team. So if you're a team of developers, Jira better connects you with teams like marketing and design, so you have all the information you need in one place. Plus, their AI helps you knock out the small stuff so you can focus on delivering your best work. Get started on your next big idea today in Jira.
Right off the bat, we've been seeing across the board a lot more people outside of the tech industry embracing conversation about AI. Oprah has a special about AI with all of the top tech godfathers.
Yeah, like we're talking, Sam Altman, we're talking Bill Gates, big names in the tech industry. And how cool is it that Oprah is using her platform to really educate her audience on AI and how it's going to impact our daily lives.
Yeah, I mean, she's basically an AI chick.
She is. Oprah,
you're officially an AI chick.
Yes. Love to have you in the squad, girl.
And then you know what? Even Kevin Hart has a documentary. Obviously, there's been a lot of fears and concerns around AI, and so I love that he is kind of bringing the humor, sensibilities, his brand, his relationships to the conversation in this documentary.
And I think something to note is for us, when we started the podcast, it was because we realized how quickly it was transforming and how quickly it was changing, but there was not a lot of conversation about how it would impact not only your daily life, but just like an everyday person.
Exactly.
And so it was really important for us to do this podcast to educate people.
Close the gap in communication from our relationships and our access in the tech world to, everyday daily life.
Exactly. And I think that it's so great to see people who are big in the entertainment space also embracing that. And I feel like it also gives light on the pulse of what's happening in our society.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, here we go with it not being a fad anymore. It's definitely not a fad. It's not going away. And that is why you're going to be seeing more and more people, more and more platforms and celebrities embracing the conversation and also doing what we've been doing, which is closing the gap on communication to help inform the public on what they should know about.
And I think it's just important to know, obviously we're the AI chicks. We really enjoy using the technology. The technology is not perfect.
Yeah.
There are still challenges and concerns that need to be addressed, which a lot of these documentaries are addressing as well. But I think the thing is that we can't close our ears to it. We have to be aware of the innovations and opportunities as well as the challenges and concerns and really navigate those waters. But hopefully, to me, what I enjoy about AI is the opportunity for it to improve our lives and make it better.
Well, I think that one of the things that has always been important to me is there's certain type of technology that really just impacts one sector of a profession or an industry or a society. This is a technology similar to the internet, similar to cell phones, that this is impacting everything that we interface with as humans. And so, we're always making a point to cover different areas of conversations, to cover different industries, bring on different types of experts with insight and expertise. And so the next batch of episodes you guys are going to be getting from us, we're covering even more amazing topics from education to the economy. What else, Lana?
Oh my God. Honestly, there's just so many amazing episodes.
Video indexing.
How to grow your small business.
Yeah. We are covering a lot in the rest of our episodes this season with new topics. And again, really love that we're seeing across the headlines, across the media markets landscape, more and more global names, global faces starting to have these conversations as well.
Not only are they coming out with documentaries, for example, but you're seeing more AI conferences, online workshops, AI webinars. There's there's so much more investment in educating people about AI. And so we're big proponents here of digital literacy. So definitely make sure that you are kind of tapping in, listening obviously to the podcast, because we like to break it down here first, but also educating yourself on really how you can be using AI to improve your daily life.
Definitely. All right. So we covered that headline that's really close to home for us.
Yes.
Because we're starting to see a lot of people do what we've been doing. What else is on the docket that we should touch on?
Robotics.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, you guys. This has been such a major headline across the tech space.
Yes.
Not only are we watching and monitoring and talking about things that's in the mainstream market, but we are a part of a lot of conversations within the tech industry and seeing what's happening on the tech blogs and those AI startup releases. The advancement of the robotic space has been so tremendous recently. I mean,
it's pretty much like mind blown emoji.
Yeah.
In earlier episodes, we talked about CES. We talked about these home agent little robots that would follow you around your house. They kind of look like a little ball with a screen interface.
Yeah. And in just in a matter of months now, we're seeing humanoid robotics being released, and literally as soon as coming to market that people can receive their product purchases of humanoid robotics that you can have in your house
in 2025.
So what's it like to buy your first cryptocurrency on Kraken? Well, let's say I'm at a food truck I've never tried before. Am I going to go all in on the loaded taco? No, sir. I'm keeping it simple, starting small. That's trading on Kraken. Pick from over 190 assets and start with the $10 in your pocket. Easy. Go to Kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
We're talking very soon of a transition of these little AI assistants rolling around your house to now having a humanoid robot that is your personal assistant in your home. There is Isaac. That is the one that's everyone's excited about. Isaac literally can do your home chores, cut your meals and cook your food. It can fold your clothes and do your laundry.
Which, by the way, can I just say...
Is that your fave?
You know what? But can I just say, I've said it before on this show. I'll say it again. Are we just becoming more and more like the Jetsons?
Yes.
Okay? And where is my makeup and hair robot? I want that one. Okay? So whatever tech companies out there, whoever's working on that robot, I would love it. Can you imagine if you just sit there?
That chicks are your first customer.
I could just sit there. They could just do my hair, do my makeup.
I love it. Glam Squad. We need a Glam Squad
robots.
Okay. But the features that they're doing are very similar to what we've talked about in previous episodes. And then they're evolving out of that because they actually have the mobility like humans to do more physical chores for you in addition to just, like connecting you to your Zoom conference call
or doing a small task. I think some of the home agent example was feed the dog.
Yes.
It was very interesting. There was a lot of pet references back then. It had its functionalities, but it couldn't cook you dinner or hand you a cup of coffee or things like that. These robots, that's what they can do. They can hand you things. Can you give me that apple? Here you go. And so what I'm wondering is, are we going to get to a place where we all have our AI robots that go to the grocery store for you or go down the street and grab you a cup of coffee and they pay?
Walk my dog.
Walk your dog. Do your laundry. Clean your floor.
Yeah, not just the ones that were rolling around feeding the dog, but now you can feed the dog and walk the dog and pick up after the dog. You can play with the dog. I mean, there's a whole layer in advancement of what these robotics are able to do. And we're just talking about this really from like a home personal assistant perspective because that's where they're marketing to more recently.
Yeah, they're focusing more on the home. Yeah. I'm just having the fun of going, okay, well, what could this robot do? Could this robot go down the street and pick up my dry cleaning? Take itself into a self-driving car.
Exactly. They can do self-driving cars or they can walk to the location.
Okay, do you love our imagination here at the AI Chicks?
Well, I'm just saying it's based off of some of the demos that they're showing. And all of these demos are accessible through YouTube videos and things like that. All of these manufacturers are doing demo videos about this. They have one where literally the humanoid robotic is slicing apples.
Cutting it in a very methodical way, the way you would cut an apple. Yeah. Maybe even arguably better than some people can cut an apple.
And I think that one of the things for me, especially because obviously we've been following these markets for a while, is that robotics have always been a part usually of the manufacturing and the corporate business side.
Sure. And in healthcare.
And automobiles, some restaurants, other industries have been using robotics. But I think that now to see them being very intentional and marketing with how they're presenting the robotics capabilities to personal home use,
right?
To personal family use. That is the thing that has just been so eye-catching and exciting to see, especially since just a few months ago, we were reviewing CES AI products that were not at the caliber and the level of capabilities that now these robots are at.
And you know what the interesting thing about that is, I think from a consumer's perspective, the closest thing that they've had in addition to those AI personal assistants we were talking about from CES was the vacuum. The Roomba comes in and cleans the floor. And that's been the closest thing to consumers having a robotic
AI experience,
in their home.
And then they're seeing a different type of AI personal assistant experience with a Siri type or an Alexa type, like Alexa Home. Play me this song.
Right.
And then they can play them that song. And so you guys, the humanoid robotics, like an Isaac and some others, they are a blend of all of that together where they can vacuum your floor, clean your floors, and then also answer an email. It's full service here.
I just think that what's really remarkable about this, guys, is the big jump.
Yes.
You're going from something that has limited capabilities to something that is much larger scale
and mobile
and sophisticated.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to see, are we going to, as a society, grow to a place where everyone has one in their home, the way that everyone has a cell phone,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not saying each person in the family needs one, but that you have one and it can do some certain chores in your house.
What was the statistics of how many they were going to be releasing in 2025?
I think they were only releasing like 30.
Yeah.
Something small. It was like a small batch, but
Yeah.
still 30 are going to be released in 2025. That's close.
I wonder who's the 30 that are getting those first ones.
Please comment. Please send us an email. If you're one of the 30 that are getting one of these, we would love to check it out.
I know. There's got to be some international customers, obvi. Like, not all 30 are coming to the U.S.
No, but if you are in the U.S., we would love to see one.
But there's definitely got to be someone in California that's going to get one of these 30.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially in Silicon Valley. Any of you Silicon Valley guys getting it?
Or someone in Beverly Hills or Bel Air.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's got to be some. I have money that one of those 30's got to be coming to California.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to, maybe we'll see out about.
Yeah, we'll scope it out. Okay. We gave you guys some tea on robotics.
Yes.
And there's a lot more to talk about that. But again, we're just touching on the hot topics in the headlines lately.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, you know what's a really hot topic?
What's a really hot topic?
Speaking of extraordinary, SSI.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes. SSI is the safe super intelligence company. The chief scientist from OpenAI, that's his company. He has a couple partners in it. And the goal of that is to create safe artificial intelligence.
And a system that is really leading first with like ethics.
Yes. And this company is only a few months old and raised over $1 billion.
Literally, for a company that's only been around for a few months. It's insane.
And what this really means and why it's so important to have is that there's a lot of different conversations within the tech community as well as the investment community and the VCs about how people are looking at artificial intelligence and what is going on in the market of raising capital.
Yeah.
And I think that what you'll see is that this is sort of a new unicorn, if you will, of valuations, because I'm thinking if you're an AI startup founder, is this the expectation you're going to have?
Well, this definitely becomes more of a North Star.
Exactly.
For, I think a lot of other AI startups and founders for sure. Obviously, you have to look at who is the founder of SSI and like and how this is all being started and formulated. But also the interesting part is that they really have not proven any products or revenue. They haven't even promised any profit margins with a timeline. It's really the factor of the founders behind it, as well as they really want to take this raise and the funding to expand and really heighten their computing capabilities, as well as hire the top tier AI talent and staff that they can. So I think there's this interesting aspect that I feel like the tech industry always tends to do, is where they embrace a little bit more of the innovation and the unknown. There's been a history of tech companies raising a lot of money with having very little. The level that SSI has done it is unprecedented. And I'm curious, is it because people understand in the investing and the tech world how important AI is? That's what is resonating with me. It's not just about the raise. It's not just about who's behind it. Is it because they understand how big and how impactful AI is going to be that they realize the importance of this type of company? And so everyone's willing to throw money at it.
I think there is that element to it, but
this is not the sound of a stream running through the mountains. It's water from a leaking pipe trickling down a stairway. That's not a frog splashing into a lake. It's a piece of sheetrock falling into a puddle on a kitchen floor. And that's not a hiker taking a deep breath of mountain air. It's a homeowner gasping at the sight of a $12,000 water damage repair bill. 40% of homeowners have experienced water damage. Protect your home with the Moen Smart Water Monitor and Shutoff. Moen.
Just for people to have perspective, as a broker and M&A advisor, I deal with lots of companies. The tech space is very different from other industries. Most of the times when I'm dealing with buying or selling companies, people are basing valuation on the revenue and the profit of the companies. It's established some track record.
Yeah, it's very tangible.
Yes, there is a track record of you have received X revenue, you are hitting this much profit, you are consistent, you have customer growth. It's all of those things.
And you're normally dealing with companies who are already successful and they're looking to sell. Yeah.
Versus in the startup tech world, historically, there has been a lot of investment in innovation, but not necessarily these companies were profitable or making money. I mean, sometimes people were investing in pre-revenue companies even. This is unique to the tech world. Mm-hmm. But even within the tech world, what I've seen, especially in the last few months and really over the last, year or so, is more of a pressure in the capital raise world. People are not writing the big checks as much, right? And they're being more thoughtful about what's your plan to profitability.
Exactly.
You can't just have a company and investors throw all this money. And that's actually why I was reading a lot more about investors talking about their concerns about how much AI is going to take from an investment standpoint up front. And then how long is it before they return on the investment, if they even return on it.
And the cost of operations, right? Because some of the companies that we're talking about, there hasn't been a company like that.
Exactly.
So what is the cost of operation and the growth throughout the timeline of that business and that startup? But I think going back to what you're saying, that's why it is so interesting. And this is such a big headline, because a lot of VCs and capital raise have been tightening, and they are tuning into what's your strategy, what's your ROI, what's the growth
projection.
Rate. Yeah. And then to read about SSI, and he doesn't have all that planned out. Like, they don't have all of that planned out. And so I'm just like, whoa, with literally very little of all the things we hear in the marketplace about what you need to raise capital. And he has
he must have something.
Well, yeah, he has himself and top people, and he has OpenAI.
Sure.
So I get why everyone wants to jump in on it.
Right.
It's like one of the guys from Uber. Oh, I have a new startup that I want to do.
My new robotaxi startup.
Yeah, everyone's going to throw, money at that. I get it. But it still was very, very interesting to see how quickly it was done and at the number it was done. A company at this stage can already raise $1 billion. It was something we had to talk about in our headline opening episode.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to just touch on really fast is the reason why SSI was so impactful is it really just showed certain investors being very bullish on AI, because that's a very large amount of money to raise right out the gate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're seeing with other AI companies more pressure. If you're not hitting certain earnings expectations, as well as economic pressures. People are, worried about the economy and what's happening with the economy. That's also impacting people's ability to let go of money.
Also, too, how competitive the marketplace is. There's a lot of other AI startups. We know a lot of AI founders, and we come across a lot of AI startup intel. Mm-hmm. And so within that, some of them are doing a lot of the same thing.
Yes.
I think the difference with SSI is that that's really pioneering a different stage.
Right. And that might be why
market.
It got the valuation that it got. Because I think that the implied valuation that I read was about $5 billion, right?
Yes,
it raised
exactly.
$1 billion, but it was valued at $5 or about there.
And I think it's because the competitive market isn't really there for that type of company.
Right. And having said all that, though, I just want to
it's still
say,
wild.
I mean, it's wild, but also just to say, there's also a lot of founders who have great AI startups and hopes and dreams too.
Yeah, we've had some of them on our podcast.
Yes, we have. But in terms of wanting to raise money, maybe did not have as much success and then found themselves going back into one of the tech giants. And so that's why I think that this is I liked your term North Star, but at the same time, it's not like every AI startup is going to get this kind of raise or valuation.
Yeah. And one other topic that we wanted to talk about before we wrap up here is another groundbreaking headline news.
My God. Are you talking about Google?
Google. No, I wasn't talking about Google. What's happening with Google?
Girl.
Okay.
Google.
Obviously the AI
we were talking about two different headlines.
I know. Okay. Which headline are you talking about, girl?
I'm talking about how Google can figure out how to hear sickness.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let me explain that.
I forgot about that.
So what Google did is they took their AI model and they fed 300 million pieces of audio recordings of coughs, sneeze,
Respiratory
labor,
issues.
breathing,
Yeah.
so that it could determine early signs of illness, like tuberculosis. And then it's partnering with an Indian company called Salsit Technologies, which is a respiratory healthcare startup, to put that technology into smartphones so that in areas where there are densely populated
or underdeveloped,
and they're more likely to have poor access to healthcare, that they can try to get ahead of something spreading or, there's sickness here. I mean, Google can hear sickness.
Yes.
I think that is pretty groundbreaking because hopefully my hope would be we could get to people earlier in the process and save more lives.
And I love that you touched on the advancements in the medical space too, because there's also those hearing aid headphones, right?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Let out the tea.
Apple
We got
has
the Google tea. Now we got the Apple tea.
Yeah, we love our big tech giants and they're all their hot teas. Okay, but Apple has their headphones, their earpieces. Now they're saying that they might be able to be just as good as a hearing aid.
Yes. If someone, has an unexpected issue with their hearing aid, they can use the Apple headphones to help with their hearing as an intermediate solution, not to just everyone start using headphones to hear. But it's very interesting again to see all of these breakthroughs that we're seeing from these tech giants.
I think we've covered a lot today. We've covered
but we haven't covered my final headline that I was talking about.
Look guys, I thought we had covered it all.
No, because this is the major one.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
For the first time ever, there is a World AI Treaty.
Yes.
And so there was already a EU AI treaty, but now we have a global world AI treaty that the US has signed, that the UK has signed. So many different countries have signed this treaty, taking on the initiative and the agreement to make sure that AI and the revolution of AI is done in likeness and in consciousness with humanity.
And I have to say, there's always conversation about should there be rules and regulations implemented and how much and what types and what are we doing and how are we going to avoid every situation? And I think the thing about this treaty is let's just at least agree that we are all wanting a human-centric focus, which means we want to have AI that's aligned with human principles, right?
Yes. And so that's basically what is covering across the board. Each country, each state, each culture has their different facets of what is important to them. But this AI treaty is really just more of like a high level of implementing and agreeing that the companies, the technology will take into consideration important human and humanity necessities, as well as the ethics
and transparency and accountability and what to do if there's misuse and all of the things that everyone's trying to be on the same page about.
Yeah, and there is an exception, though. I do want to highlight that there is an exception for national security. So national security and the military is not incorporated into some of the agreements of this AI treaty. And then in addition to that, there have been a lot of people who have been a little bit of naysayers about this treaty because they just feel like it's too lofty for right now. But what it does allow and agrees to is that the countries, they will each start to implement legal parameters and legal committees around how to handle issues that come up with AI. So they're acknowledging that these various countries do not have the legal systems and the laws are already in place in all of them, but this treaty is at least they're all agreeing to start implementing legal parameters and legal committees to help with the concerns and the liabilities and to mitigate any issues or dangers when it comes to the growth of AI and the AI technology.
And I think when you really think about it from a global perspective too, there is an AI race among the countries to be an AI innovator. And so I do think that having the treaty also shows a certain level of collaboration and cooperation, which is good. But to kind of go back to your other point of some people think it's a bit lofty or maybe it's too loose of
parameters.
Yeah. The thing about it is that this technology is so rapidly evolving that what you don't want to do is stifle growth and innovation by having rules when you haven't let it kind of play out yet. So I actually think that having this loose parameter is good. And then as the technology grows and develops and gets implemented, we're able to identify and have those conversations about the challenges and concerns. And then we're able to implement laws that actually are doing what we need it to do versus just some blanket canvas. I don't know what this technology can do, but let's just make a bunch of laws.
Yeah.
That's also not as productive. And I think limiting the potential of the opportunity.
Yeah. And we touch about this in our AI and legal episode as well, where there is this natural political discourse in the law sector that you kind of have to let things play out so that then you know which laws and processes to put in place. So there are some things that it's just hard to do preventive models when you don't know fully the capabilities. And in this case, we're talking about artificial intelligence. But the AI treaty has a lot of details to it. We're just really talking about a high level. We want to make sure that you guys are aware of it. It is a historical thing that's happening in the AI space. Definitely check it out if you're curious to know more details about that. But I think that really covers it. Those
are our favorite headlines.
Yeah, we covered some really strong hot topics that's been going around.
I'm really glad that we were able to give people a little bit of a sense of what's going on and what we think about it.
So thank you guys for tuning in. We are so glad that you're joining us for the rest of this season. And
don't forget to follow us, subscribe, and don't forget to cop the merch.
Woohoo! Yeah, we're rocking our AI merch here, so don't forget to cop that. All right, you guys, take care. Bye.
Listen to the AI Chicks on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Video episodes are available on Patreon. And check out our socials at The AI Chicks.